this is how it goes. The whole objective of tonight is people did breakthrough last week, and what we want to do is we get back together and we hear how your week has been, how life is, and what the workshop was like for you. The most important thing is come from a perspective of the people that you're speaking to don't know who you are. They haven't met you before. And of course, there are some that have, and we know who was on the call. So the way it starts is we'll start with one person, first the last participants who are on the last workshop. And all it's going to be is start there. Introduce yourself, give us your name. Tell us what was life like before you did breakthrough, what life is like after you've done breakthrough, and in essence, what was the breakthrough course like for you? And also just tell us how you're doing. We really want to know how you're doing. How's life been? Are you facing any challenges? Have you solved any challenges? Has it made a difference to you? And just to be clear, as we spoke about this before, breakthrough is not a motivational workshop. It's not a motivational course that you just walk in, you get all motivated, and then you just disappear. It's very much a self-mastery, personal development. It's digging into how we work, how other people work. So we are going to have these ups and downs. We will have challenges which arrive out of nowhere. And oftentimes we're going to discover that this stuff is very situational. So in other words, when I'm talking about a situation, it's a case when whatever situation arises in your life, then we get to use the stuff that we've learned. Julian, it looks like you've been nominated, so I'm going to unmute you or ask to unmute, and then so Julian's going to go first.
Evening, guys. I hope everyone is all well. I'm doing great. I firstly would like to say thank you to Andrew and the crew and the guys and the support there for all that you guys have done, especially for you, Andrew. Wow, what can I say? Amazing. Your training and just how you thinking and how I'm thinking at the moment. There's stuff that happened this week at work, and I'm actually resolving it. I'm not getting stuck and putting myself into a bubble and nowhere to go. And I'm actually sorting it out and by myself, kind of thing. Not just working myself up. And I've definitely got a lot of things that I've learned, which are slowly coming to me. That I'm definitely going forward. It's going to be a good journey for me. I'm definitely be coming on the support nights, which I'm looking forward to it. So I'm going to get some more info. And as I said, I was a slow learner, so it takes me quite a while to listen and that. But I'm going to get there, and I'm feeling great at the moment. My relationship's getting even better now since I had that chat. And I'm feeling good. Really, very good.
Dude, that is super good news. And I know that you also had a bit of a lead up before you actually got into, before you came to the breakthrough. So what was that lead up like for you? Were you nervous or
I was excited because obviously I saw my wife a couple of weeks back, how she was, and I was very confused at home, and I didn't know what was going on and how she felt. And Saturday she came back and it was amazing that I saw her. And obviously I always like to know, want to be, how can I say, I'll get a bit of FOMO. I want to know what's happening. I always want to know what's happening. I don't want to be left out. And I felt like I was left out. And I said to myself, I need to go on this course, And obviously when I got there, got a little bit nervous because I don't normally get up and just talk. I get nervous. I don't know what to do. And then I get stuck in it, And look, it's really, really, I went in there and it's been good. My journey's been great. It's just going to get better.
It actually does get better. The further you go into this and the more you apply it, you get to, it's almost like taking off on a plane, and then you'll get to a cruising altitude and you'll start cruising. So it does get better. Every now and again we'll fly through a bumpy patch. It happens. Have you noticed anything different? Like, in other words, if you could sum up in the shortest possible way, what was life like before you've done the breakthrough and then after you walked out of breakthrough? Like, how did you feel literally the moment that you walked out of breakthrough, right at the end?
I was more happy with myself. I was relieved. I'm definitely going to have more confidence in myself.
Nick, have you got a question for Julian?
Yeah, I sure do. Hey, Julian, you're looking amazing, brother. You're absolutely shining. You look absolutely awesome, I must say. That's so nice to see you. So, Julian, when in the process, because all of us had that moment where you kind of went like, oh my goodness gracious, look at who I am. I'm Julian, you know. How did you feel in that moment when you kind of went like, oh my goodness, I'm Julian. This is who I am. This is what I can bring the world. Obviously, we're all working through that. I'm still working through it, but how did you feel in that moment?
Sure, I felt great. Saturday was amazing for me. I really, really, really had a great time, and it was me. Saturday was really, really good for me. I really felt good with myself. There's lots of things that I have to learn out of myself. I really, really had a good time Saturday.
Anything else? Cool. Then, Julian, all I can see is a long list on the one side here, so I know that there's a lot of people. You get to choose who goes next.
I'll go with Logan.
Okay. Well, so yeah, I'm Logan, as evidenced by the fact that I'm responding to that addressing there. When I came to BreakThrough, Andrew helped me to pinpoint what exactly it was that I wanted to work towards. I started talking about leadership, and then he pointed out the word power, and then that made me nervous enough to say, yep, that's what I want. That's it right there. So then the time at BreakThrough became exploring. You know, I have these dreams of making an impact on the world, and lately it started to feel like, okay, well, there's this power I want to exercise when there's something invisible there that I can't seem to break through. And I think Andrew was right to point out, although it shocked me at the time, that I'm too much of a nice guy sometimes. And so what's changed for me since BreakThrough, and I'll first say that the moment of change in BreakThrough was during the stretch. I felt these things were sort of bubbling, and then that really gave me an experience of making contact with my power in a way that didn't freak me out, and it felt confident. And even I can say that now without kind of hunching over and flinching away from the concept. And that's a continuation of that shift in that moment. And then so since then, it relates mostly to my work, although it also touches on my relationships. My work, you know, I notice clearly when there's a time where my habit would have me, I would habitually have something to say, and then already before I say it, start couching it in a nicer way to say it. Leave too much room, entirely too much room for disagreement. And so now I'm just more comfortable sort of taking away all the couching in niceness, you know, that's been good. It's been good to feel that power. My week was a little disappointing because I think I came out of BreakThrough with a naive expectation that everything would be solved. And in particular, there's a pervasive problem I've been having with concepts of laziness and am I doing enough, and what happens when my motivation flags, and that problem is not solved. and Monday in particular was brutal because I came sort of expecting the new me to glide through in some sense. It didn't quite happen, and so then the letdown was even worse because it's like, oh fuck. But I got what I ended up coming to BreakThrough for, which is that connection to power that really did change. And I'm happy to be exploring that from where from where I'm at now. Certainly not certainly not second nature yet to exercise my power fully in the way that I'd like, but I think I notice the opportunities and kind of slow down and do it in a way that I'm more proud of. That feels right.
No, it's definitely a true story, Logan. One of the things that we always face is we go into a workshop and we want to walk out the other side and just have the thing completely mastered. But a lot of the times, even though we do experience that things are different and the things are definitely changed, the thing is it's just a little bit of extra practice because we've just opened up the door. We also have those things like we call beginner's luck or early gains. And when we roll out, things just suddenly go very smooth, and then every now and again there's a bump. But the best part that I'm listening to behind that is, first off, I'm glad that the idea of climbing into your power initially shocked you, and noticing that it's actually in you and being able to touch it. And then once a mind once stretched will never go back to its original size. So it's one of these things that each individual person has their own journey. They go through it their own way. And you find your own steps and how it applies to you. The one thing that really doesn't sit well with me is people telling us what to do, and when we try and make their way our way. So going out there and doing it your way, that's fantastic. And it's just really an honor to just have you join us, and it's been really awesome. I see there's a message from Nico. Nico also says, you're looking awesome, Logan. So you're getting all kinds of props there. Unless there's any questions, who's next? Lilene, mic on the mic, go.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yep, you're coming through beautifully.
Okay. I've been feeling so great. I can't explain how much BreakThrough meant to me and just what I've learned from it. I'm a bookkeeper and it's month end, so it's quite hectic at work. And there's been people that's been stressing, and I'm just like going through it like, I'm not worried. So yeah, that's been awesome for me. Not that the work isn't important, but yeah, the stress isn't getting to me. And it's just been actually great. I struggled a bit afterwards, but then I just listened to the audios again, and it put me back on track.
What about the audios put you back on track, if I may ask? Because I'm assuming you're talking about the post audios, the supporting audios.
Yeah. Yes, the post audios. It's just I went through it again because my good enough thing popped up for me again, and I was struggling with that. So I just re-listened to the audios, and it made me realize that was coming up.
Yeah, that primary belief system of ours, it's always going to kick in for us. The beauty is if you notice it, that's the best part.
Yeah.
And yes, Nico also just put a quick message. He says we are here to support you. So it's a true story. It's one thing. It's would you believe that you could have found a whole lot of brand new friends just within a week?
No, I didn't believe that could ever happen.
Yeah. So going back to those supporting audios, it's one of the things that we don't want to turf people out into the wilderness, and you've done a workshop and you never come back, or that your results are completely up to you, and what you do with it is up to you. Yes, of course, do you have a responsibility for these things? Absolutely. Yeah. But there is a support network behind you and a support mechanism. So if you do run into any trouble, obviously reach out, and we are here for you. Of course, there is the next stage. I mean, that's one of the things it seems like it might be a theme through this call. This is literally just the beginning. This is just the opening door. This was just breakthrough. This isn't the complete Harlequin experience. So you still got to go through Chalice, and there's a whole lot more. And then, of course, behind that, there's a mechanism where we dig more into the practicalities and technical stuff, each specific to our souls. So, for example, what Logan was talking about, when we go back into our work, and it'll probably work for you too, there will be other specific things that we can apply in there, which will be part of the bonus material or part of the the things that we work with going forward. And how do we apply this stuff? So, if you as long as you're doing great, awesome. Where's your man? Is he missing? Where's he?
He's working evening shift at his gym.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Apparently, I heard a birdie tell me something along the lines that you're a little worried about losing your experience. Are you still worried about that, or?
No, not at all.
Well, it is one of those things. Yes.
I'm looking forward to assisting and doing chalice. So yeah.
No, don't worry, we are waiting for you. Lilene, it's up to you. You got the floor. Who's next?
Marthinus.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey. I can totally relate to what Logan said, and Lilene as well. I think what I've been experiencing is just, I feel like my conversations have been a bit more, yeah, it's been different. It's been completely different. So the conversations that I've been having, I've been asking myself the question of what is a quality conversation for myself, and I've been faced with a lot of questions, things that I've just sort of like browsed through in the past have become sort of something to me where I've sort of had to take stock and see where I'm at with things that I just brush over, especially with my relationships. I feel like my relationships as well, just being in contact with people that I really care for, where I feel like in the past I was also at a place where it was almost just like you're in such a space, so it's almost like a common thing. I think especially just after, I think it was Friday night where we did like the exercise with the parents, that really brought me to a place where I really appreciate the relationships that I have in my life, and yeah, I just feel like I really need to honor that, and so I've been taking stock of that, and I've also just been applying some of the things that was really pertinent to me. Something that you said, Andrew, in the beginning was, a winner has a winner mindset and a loser has a loser mindset. And if you've been losing, like I felt like I've been losing at a couple of things in my life, I have to go back and renew my mind on those things. So yeah, I've been applying this in some of my stock trading that I do. So I do some day trading, and yeah, I've had 2 successful days so far. I've only actually been trading for two days this week now, so it's been 2 successful days where I've taken a risk at trying something completely different. So trying a completely new strategy, and yeah, and also forcing myself to not be the rat that goes looking for the cheese in the same place the whole time. So just sort of like going for the next phase, and also seeing where else it might be, and being open for that change.
I must say, dude, you're sounding awesome. Actually, from the first day that when we started BreakThrough and I heard you speak, I could tell that there was a lot more going on behind the scenes of Marthinus. So it's nice to see that you've embraced that, and you're looking great. So I'm glad to hear.
I also just changed.
Yeah,
I just changed my name as well, because I actually haven't been on Zoom since the weekend, so I just changed my name.
No, I can see the embrace there, and also the yeah. When you say you've only been online for 2 days, or you've been trading for 2, and you've had 2 successful days, it's 100%.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Nico's got his hand up.
Hey man, I'm so glad you joined BreakThrough, Marthinus, my brother. You're looking absolutely amazing. You're an incredibly talented human being, and when we went through what we went through, I went, oh my goodness gracious, there's an opportunity here for my friends to go and have some fun with Andrew and the team, and I can't even tell you what a blessing it was to be a part of that process. You're looking awesome. I can't wait to hear some original songs from your side, my brother. I know it's going to happen, but you're such a blessing, and I was so privileged to be a part of your process. What through the process do you think was sort of one of the penny droppers, those penny dropper moments where you kind of went like, oh my goodness, I kind of wow, I've discovered a little bit more of me?
I think the thing that probably meant the most to me was, I think all of the support, especially from you and Shani, just receiving that love from you guys. You know how much support I actually do have in my life, and how many people actually care for me, and that was a penny dropper for me, and I just became aware of that again, and I think it's something that I wasn't really cognizant of, but I'm really, it's like I've woken up to it all of a sudden, and I'm just grateful for it, you know. So if you're grateful for that, I feel like everything just shifts, you know. Like everything has a purpose, and it just feels like there's more purpose in my choices, my day-to-day living. So yeah, I'm not scared to take risks, and just I see it, and it's funny to see it. It's like, it's almost like a, you know, like Logan is also saying, you can feel yourself also, you can feel like there's a continuation, like you need to choose to continue in it. But yeah, it's been great.
Fantastic. Well, talking about Logan, Logan has his hand up. So, yeah, Logan, off you go.
Yeah, I'm curious, Marthinus, to hear more about, you said that your conversations were different, or your relationships. Maybe I'm just curious if you could, I think you said something like they're more meaningful or more value, or you said you were asking yourself how to make the conversation more meaningful or something along those lines. I'm just curious to hear more about that.
Cool. Yeah, so I just noticed this in myself when I was having conversations, and I just felt like I was questioning myself, like, you know, what am I bringing and how am I supporting? And I was, where in the past I really didn't feel like I was really approaching a conversation in that manner, and also with my relationships, I just feel like I've got a completely different concept on supporting. And one of the moments I remember, we were told to go sit silently and support, and I still told the syndicate and Shani, I was like, how do you do that? Like, how do you be silent and support? Like, and I feel like there was a big lesson for me in that, because I think it teaches you to really listen and to really take a step back, before you just, you know, vent what you feel, or, you know, try and project what your experience is on someone else.
It's one of those things that I definitely noticed this many years ago. It's probably part of the reason why I got into this. Your conversations actually become meaningful. You're not just talking about gossip and whining and rubbish. Those conversations work and they have their place, but they just turn into something else where we get a lot more deeper. We get deeper. We make a better connection, and it becomes topics of conversation which actually carry us forward, as opposed to just keeping us in our drama. So yeah, if you notice that is fantastic. It's obviously you're the man at the floor. So who's next?
Let's go for Andre.
Yeah, so how was the week? Up and down, eh? That plane coming into land Saturday evening when you get home, you know, that wanting to speak about it and wanting to do the mini breakthrough type of thing, but you realize that it's a process. It was quite a hectic process, especially the first few days when you don't know exactly, you know, you're still getting into the thing, and you're trying to figure out where everything fits in and so on. But so you just decide, okay, you can't explain it. But yeah, the feeling to do is still there, basically. So that I had, and yeah, I've managed to maintain some of the positiveness, if I can call it that, that we spoke about on the third night. But what was more, so I've had quite a busy week and so on, and what was more an eye opener for me was, so you take that 3% and little parts of everything. And today, without me telling it to a clinical psychologist, because I told you guys I need to work with this in my system. So today, without me telling a psychologist what I've done in the last week or what I've been through, nothing like that, just speaking like this, she comes and she starts telling me the story about, so she asks questions about your child in the womb and so on. And I start explaining the story like you brought it. Yeah, you in your happy place, all of a sudden you get pulled out, blah, blah, blah. And she says, oh shit, but you understand this stuff, you know? You're like, all of a sudden, fucking, how do you know about this, you know? So I didn't tell her. I left that. Yeah, but I left that conversation. I didn't tell her where it comes from. But there is, you know, it's kind of like, shit, okay, yeah, you know, it works, you know. And she was just as maybe awestruck or dumbstruck that I could relate to the conversation that she's trying to tell me, maybe, you know. So it's definitely learned me how to work with the problems within my system, if I can put it to you like that.
Yeah, you can. It makes sense. So, in essence, would you say that, because it's obviously it sounds like you're saying you went to a psychologist or a psychiatrist?
Clinical psychologist.
Clinical psychologist.
Yeah, this is theater, hey?
Yeah, have you fear arts? Every time I hear fear arts, it keeps. I keep thinking, is that a vet?
Yeah, fear arts is a vet. Yeah.
So I went to my vet. I went to my
the one
vet.
that can give you pills. So
I went to my vet the other
day. So my youngest daughter is struggling with anxiety. She's in grade 4, standard 2 now. So that's what we're struggling with at this stage. So just some tools around how to help her and so on. So that's you know, when we were younger, we didn't get taught these tools. You know, our dads were in the army, so if you had anxiety, you got a clap on the gut and you got sent to school, and that was it. You know, so that's our reference point, if you can take it like that. Okay, shit, I feel sorry for you, but okay, get your ass into gear, and sometimes we have to work at it a bit different, you know. So yeah, so it's one of those things, and that's helping me a lot at this stage, you know, just a bit more understanding, because I don't have that, to be honest, you know. I don't understand it, but this process let me understand it a lot better. So everybody takes something, you know. Yeah,
that's definitely one of those things, as we discussed. It's something that we tend to absorb, but it's nothing that's actually taught directly, so it's very difficult for us to learn it in a very well-packaged manner, something that we can actually use. And if this can support our children, fantastic. I mean, when you're speaking about, you know, if you had anxiety when you were a kid, you just got smacked on the bum and sent to school. I just keep thinking that those were the good old days where you got on with it. And I mean, yeah, we can always argue whether it was a good thing or a bad thing. But we never got given the major skills as we become our own parents, as we become parents to our children. And not only that, these skills carry over in all areas. They carry over into parenting, they carry over into work, they carry over, even if you're running a business, running your own business, and also they carry over into your personal life, into your relationships, and just the relationship that you have with yourself. Your dialogue, your internal dialogue changes. And I'm listening to the way you're putting it. Would you say that BreakThrough had an impact on you, or did it change any perspective? Or, you know, when you go and speak to them, does it change your understanding of how things work?
So everybody takes something different, and you're going to get 3%, but you're going to get 3%. You're going to get one day, right? So in terms of working with my daughter, I understand that a lot better. And then in terms of, you know, again, in my personal relationship with my wife, you know, that how can I serve you type of gesture is a lot more prevalent. I thought I'd done a lot, but you can always do a little bit more, you know. Also, like we spoke, the man thinks he must put on the house and, paint the house and buy the car and that's it. But you have to do a little bit more. So it's not that I didn't do things before, but I just try to do a little bit more now. So that's another percent, and then obviously, I'm a positive person and I feel a happy person out of, normally, but there's always a little bit of room to improve. So that's my 3 things at this stage, if I can put it like that. I hope it answers your question.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that it's a question I get asked quite often. And if I've got a room full of people, how do I get the things that I'm looking for? How do I take out what's meaningful to me? It's because exactly that. You are paying attention to the things that you're looking for. You're paying attention to the things that you want. And the things which mean the most to you are the things that land. And just a quick one, just for the people listening that don't know what 3% means. Could you explain it very quickly? What do you mean by that 3%?
So the 3% rule and might be a different type of percentage here and there, but let's call it for that now. Any course that you run through your life, you if you write a test, you don't write a test, a workshop, whatever it is, you're going to take out a certain amount of value out of it, and usually around 3% of whatever relates to what you're looking for within the course or the workshop or whatever it is. That's why it's very difficult to get maybe 100% on a math test, We only take in so much of whatever it is.
Yeah. And that's a test that we study for. But now if people hear 3%, they think, oh my gosh, you only get so little out of this workshop. It can't be anything spectacular. Is that 3% worth anything? How much would you say that 3% is worth?
So you're going to take 3% out, but it's going to be 90% of what you need in your life, if I can put it like that. It's going to teach you something. That 3% is going to teach you something that you really need within yourself. That makes sense.
I'll tell you what, I think that you've put it much better than I could have put it. So yeah, the 3% is pretty much 90% of what you need in your life. I think it's fantastic. I don't know if anyone has any questions. Andre, thank you very much. And of course, you get to choose who's next.
Man, you guys are beautiful. So Andre, I've known you for a couple of years, and I must say, without giving away too much of the process, obviously there were moments through the time where I kind of looked at you and went like, oh my goodness, I know this guy, but I don't know this guy. I just have never seen Andre go where he went. What did you discover about yourself through this process where you kind of went like, I didn't actually know I could go there, and because of that, like what were the lessons that you kind of learned through that process?
Through the process as well, I think the main thing, coming back to maybe I was a bit hard when I shouldn't have been hard, and maybe I was a bit soft when I shouldn't have been soft. If that makes sense, and it comes out from all the different parts that you learn. Sometimes I should have listened, sometimes I should have done more, Yeah, it's been good. I can see the value in it. I think that's my closing statement, where the first 2 days I was sitting there trying to figure out, and it really came together from the third day, and I think that's the way that it should be, to be honest. I think that's the way that you intended it to be. So yeah, I can see the value in it.
It is kind of the way that we intended, but also, I mean, if you think about just even when we go to school, day one doesn't necessarily make sense, and most of the time it's when we face the end of the year or end of each term where all the work that we've done previously starts mounting up, and that's where it starts to show. And of course, in the beginning, it's the same as building a house. You got to dig a foundation first, and then you lay the bricks, and then you finally put the roof on. So it's all a process. Of course, it's a process. And in the beginning, when things are either confusing or frustrating, or they're just showing you a brand new way, there are times where we need to apply this stuff. If it's just pure information, it's pointless. And of course, if you don't have any fun, then it's too serious. And if we're just too serious, we lose that fun side of us. So it's a combination. It's kind of like a fruit salad. It's a big mix. But when we have all the components, then we make sure that we hit all the notes. And we hit all the notes of how do we learn. We hit all the notes of all the different learning styles. We are auditory, we are visual, we are engaging on all different levels. So we make sure that we meet everyone where they're coming from. And and that's the most important part. Once again, we take what we need for ourselves, and as we come back again and again, we just take more, and that 3% builds on itself, and that 3% builds on itself, and it just becomes more valuable. So for me to you, fantastic. You're looking and sounding awesome. So if there's anyone else, go. Otherwise, Andre, you have the mic, and you get to choose who goes next.
Unmute. Cool. How's it, guys? How's it going?
How's it, Justin?
Cool, man. Cool. Yeah. So no. Let me just tell you guys a bit of history about myself. Before the course, and obviously in the last couple of years of my life, I was in drug addiction, and then I came into recovery for the last 2 years. So I've done a lot of programs and courses to basically for like self-help and growth, and basically working on myself with life skills and all that sort of thing. And I did a course, like I wouldn't say similar to this, it was nowhere near, about 2 years back. But coming into this one, I was like, okay, cool, no, I'm going to try this out. Let me give it a bash. And first night I got there, I was thinking to myself, sure, this is quite a lot to take in and all that. Let me just see, am I going to just listen, or am I going to really take it in, or am I going to work with it, or am I going to run with it? And that's what I decided to do. And what I actually learned in the courses was absolutely amazing. Like I say, with like I did mention when I was on the course to Andrew and them, being in recovery was like kind of walking life with like blinkers on. So I was kind of like stuck in like a rut, sort of like a routine. I was in on comfortable ground all the time. And what this course has taught me to do is sort of grab the reins again and sort of be able to sort of take risks. Be more decisive about decisions that I need to make, and not to be afraid of change. So those are really things I'm embracing now, and I can really feel the difference this week already. Even with coming to work, with sort of making choices with my kids, with the relationships in my life, all that sort of thing. And it's really working magic in my life. I'm not going to drop the ball. I'm going to keep running with it. And so far, so good. It's working awesome.
Well, if you drop the ball, I'm sure you got people around you that will catch it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or otherwise, you do one of those double tap ones. You bounce it, you catch it, and pass it back to make sure
that's it exactly.
You pick the ball up again. Because we do. I mean, every now and again we do slip. The thing is, I find that forcing or whipping people, it does work from a particular angle, but it's a short-term win. From our side, we are interested in a long-term game. It's like I don't want to win a short battle. I want to win a bigger war. And if you just have that perspective and not whip yourself, and know that every morning when you wake up, you're in charge. You're totally capable of making those choices. And it's about
absolutely
taking responsibility without the blame thing, feeling that I have to. This is my choice. This is what I want to do. There's zero sacrifice in this game. It's a responsibility thing, and it's an outcome-based thing. And dude, I mean, you sound great. And just from the beginning,
thanks.
Yeah, also from the beginning, people sit in the beginning, they sit there looking around thinking, it's just one of those. And as we get deeper and deeper and deeper into it, it's like those little sprinkles start landing. Yeah, keep going.
Oh, the whole thing, yeah.
So you just went a bit quiet there. Just repeat that again, please.
So, I was saying, once I started, like after the first night, towards like the last few hours of the first night, then I was just gripped. I was in there. I decided, you know what, this is brilliant. I'm gonna work with this.
I think you're only saying that because that's when you saw Juliet come in front of the room and just like present herself. So you thought that's a good idea. I'll be engaged. We do have beautiful people, and that is fantastic. If you had to just go back and give someone a comparison in I don't know if you want to put a percentage, or like, was life like really that tough, or how was life before you did Breakthrough? Because as you said, you've already done some sort of work like this, which again, what I always see is if you've done work before, it tends to support what you do even more. So you actually go deeper, and you actually get to grab that a lot harder and go further quicker. So, what was life as it approached, and as you can feel going forward? Would you suggest this to anyone? Would you recommend it to anyone? Or would you rather send people to, let's say, go back to the rehabs, or hit the books, or do this later, or should you wait?
A game. I mean, like recovery is good at the time, for that stage of your life. Obviously, to sort of get yourself into routine, get yourself into sort of a routine and structure. But definitely, recovery can only take you so far. It can take you to that first, second step, and then to obviously keep climbing the ladder. Then you need to go in depth with something like this, which has completely changed my life. It's taken those blinkers right off my eyes, and now I'm not. I don't fear anything. I mean, I'm not scared to make a choice and make a mistake. I'm not scared of change. I'm not scared to sort of take responsibility of things before where I'd be more like passive. So yeah, and even in like terms of relationships, putting in the right type of boundaries with the people in my life and all that. I mean, before being in recovery, I had a label. I was labeled as a recovering addict, where now I don't hang on to that label anymore. So now it's like I've taken everything off. I've taken the blinkers off my eyes. I've taken the chains off my legs, everything like that. So now I'm walking free. So now, yeah, and it's also exciting also to make the wrong decisions and to actually learn from them, and just to be more assertive, to be more decisive and all that. So yeah, definitely an improvement. I can definitely feel this week.
I must say, you surprised the socks out of me. You mentioned children, so you've also got kids. Have they noticed the difference in dad? Then have you
Yeah, I'm a dad.
Yeah. Has your kids noticed the difference in dad? Is he a little different? Is he more fun? Is he more engaging? Or are you more approachable to them? Do you feel different towards them?
I can already see like a difference with them. I mean, look, it's look with them. I've always been like pretty good, but I can feel a difference now, especially when it comes to like disciplining them and things like that. I'm a lot more patient. I think I respond more than reacting. Which is a better situation. So I'm a little bit more patient, and I also think about the whole parenting thing. So things that I say to them, things I would have said to them before, obviously patience, all that sort of thing. And obviously the main thing is now I'm responding instead of reacting. Where before it was just easy to react the whole time or with them. So I think they're seeing a different side of me as well, and it's working. Yeah.
If I'll just speak for my team in the background, because it's exactly what they say. The thing that means the most to us is someone who takes this work, goes out into their life, and pushes their life to another level, whatever that means. So if that's what it means to you and that's what's happening,
that's it.
We look forward to seeing you again, and we look forward to seeing a lot more of you, and stay in touch. And of course, if there is
100%.
100%. It's one of those things. I'm almost tempted to get, I don't know who's on the call, but I'm almost tempted to get into the questions where, when we speak about recovery and that sort of thing, I think there's a lot of people who actually are recovering, but I don't even think they're aware of it, because we have this stigma, we have this label. Whether you've over-exercised in a period of your life, or you were just involved in taking too many supplements for too long, or any of those things, anything that you just find compulsive, that's something that you need to watch. So
exactly,
and there's no judgment from that side. And when I was going to ask you a question is, what would you think if we actually took a breakthrough process and put it into, a recovery process, or pushed it into, let's call it rehab, that kind of thing? I wonder. I don't even know if that would work well, or I don't know.
No, I definitely think it'll work well. Definitely, because look, what they teach in recovery is basically like life skills, and they sort of give like example situations and all that. But I think with a breakthrough, obviously I don't want to talk about it too much, but it will definitely push them to the next level in their life, and it'll obviously give them a sort of sense of value in life, and sort of take away that label. Because in recovery, no matter where you are, whether you're in a rehab, an outpatient program, you are labeled a recovering addict no matter what, and that sort of stigma sticks with you. So coming into something like this, where no one sort of judges you by your past, or you aren't labeled, it's an amazing feeling of freedom. So I think definitely 100% it'll work brilliant.
Sure.
To incorporate this into a recovery program.
Yeah, I actually, when you speak like that, and I have my compassion button on, and I think to myself, how would I personally react if I went into a certain environment and I kind of had to wear like that kind of badge, like everyone just knew it, you didn't even have to wear it, people just labeled you like that over and over. Yeah, personally, I'm just thinking to myself, how would I respond to that? And I probably wouldn't react very well to it. It would be very difficult for me to open myself up and just and be myself, that kind of thing. And actually, and I'm just thinking about it now, it would be very difficult for me to dig down to a depth of a healing that I need, because I wouldn't want to go there because I'd actually feel that I need to cage up. So, Justin, thank you from me to you. Thank you very much, and thanks for being.
Cool. Thanks, Andrew, the team, for all the support, guys. You guys are amazing. Love you guys.
We love you back, my man. Well, Henko, it looks like you popped in there. So you're on Lilene's account there. Are you up for a quick chat? Are you next? Or,
yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. So Justin, I'm going to take it that you're done. So we're moving straight on to Henko, and take it away.
Yeah. So this is definitely something I'd recommend to a lot of people. And when you see all these other courses like Tony Robbins and like Warren Buffett and Robert Kiyosaki, people like that, these big like international guys, everybody wants to go to those things, and they don't actually realize that. I was actually speaking about this today to a lot of the people that I know, that we have a lot of awesome local stuff like this. And I mean, Andrew, you said that you've been doing this for decades now, so you know your stuff, you know what you're doing, and we can see that obviously because we can see you knowledgeable, we can see you sort of, you know what you're talking about. And we've seen the process, we've gone through the process, and I've seen people flip that I really thought were going to leave the room on the first day. And it was actually really amazing to see all those people transform. That was the biggest thing for me, and that made the biggest impact on me, is actually seeing that people were in a certain mindset, and you were just able to bring their awareness to a level where they were just like, oh shit, actually there is room for change. There is a way to change as well. And that was actually really amazing. So it's kind of like you said, is in the course as well, like what are we putting in the water, And so, yeah. But yeah, after life before the course, I've done a few personal development seminars and stuff, but nothing quite as engaging as this. The best way I can describe it is like the difference between a public school and a private school. You're going to obviously learn a lot better because the environment is a lot smaller, there's less people. You can engage a lot more with the instructor. And so life before this was actually quite... I had a good mindset, and I was quite a positive person. I was quite aware, but not to this extent where I actually physically felt personal growth. And a few days afterwards, I actually contacted you guys, and I was actually very confused. And it actually made me feel uncomfortable in a way. But I mean, that's pretty much the process. I understand that. And I went through a bit of a purge, if we could say, like Zanya said, where I felt physically sick thinking about going back to my old self. And that was actually quite crazy. I was literally like crying in the shower, thinking about that. And the night before, not being able to sleep. And I've realized now that I've kind of come through the storm of, landing the plane from that high and just being like, okay, cool. Let me just accept who this new me is. It's okay to be this type of happy. And listening to your audios, I've listened to your audios like the second day in a row now, Andrew, and it actually has helped me a lot to realize the perspective on the baboons, if you know what I mean. But yeah,
the baboon.
It's nice to be this type of baboon,
No, I'm just super stoked, and a birdie did tell me that sometimes we think if we fall asleep and we wake up, we've lost. It's almost like we're actually in a dream, and when we fall asleep, we're going to wake up in our old lives. And I also went through these kind of processes where, first off, I thought this was a whole lot of rubbish. I mean, personal development was, for broken people. And what I realized is that it's not about that at all. And I never thought that I'd actually be in front of the room or even facilitating a process like this. And one of the questions that you asked me as we were going through BreakThrough, and it is one of those things that you have direct access to the people that you are, who are facilitating you through a process. I find oftentimes when there's too many people, or that there's this barrier between the person that's just saying things up front, because you want to get the things out that you are looking for. It's precious to your own life. And when we are having our interactions, and you ask me, what if this disappears, or how am I going to hold on to this? And one of the questions or the way that we put it was, this thing sneaks into you. So just from that point of view, just getting that feedback, do you see what I mean by this thing sneaks into you? It's going to be very difficult actually going back to your old self because of the peak experience that we've had, because of the in-depth that we go to, or let's put it like this. It's because of the depth that we go to and because of the intensity that we go to. At the same time, it's because of the process that we run. It's like getting fit. If you run too fast, the next day you just get stiff and you don't want to train again. But if you go in and you warm up and you train a bit and you train a bit and you start building your fitness gradually, you actually start taking on much bigger challenges and succeeding. You'll start taking a bigger bite of the apple. You'll take a bigger piece of the cake. And you start taking these things in your stride. So just on that question, do you think that this experience is just going to fade like the rest, like you're worried about before?
No, I've got this like weird feeling literally inside of my gut that this is something that's going to stay. And I obviously spoke to the person that invited me to this or that recommended this thing to me, and he just told me, because when I was feeling like that, I just reached out to him, and he told me that when I start to feel like I'm slipping back into my old habits and my old ways, I just need to refer back to this thing, that's this deep psychological thing that's holding me back. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, Andrew.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's actually, it was very useful. It was literally like a switch. As soon as he reminded me about that, it was a switch for me to just be like, wait a minute, I'm not going to go back to my old ways, because I know what this deep psychological thing is now. And I know that that's what's holding me back from, most of the decisions that I make, and knowing that it's like, I don't know, it's very difficult to describe your experience here. It's very difficult because it's very personal, and it is
very difficult.
Yeah, you really can't describe it to somebody. It's really something. It's like trying to describe to somebody what it's like to test drive a Ferrari. Like, how do you describe that to someone? You got to test drive a Ferrari and just try it out, and then if you don't like a Ferrari, then don't go back. Don't go buy a Ferrari. It's that simple.
I mean, we've had people that have been around, not even facilitating, but just been around 20, 25 years later. I mean, this is still stuff that we use every day, all the time. And as we spoke about when we were speaking to Justin, there are times where we forget, we slip a little bit, and we wonder, shit, man, I'm trying to hold on to everything all in one go. When we just give ourselves the space to breathe, and look at it from a gym point of view. If someone thinks that they're going to walk in the door, sign a contract today, pick up 2 weights and walk out the other side like completely ripped, drop their body fat percentage, increase their muscle, it just doesn't work like that. It's
ridiculous.
It's a process. The thing is, the one thing here, and this is for everyone on the call, the beauty about the mind is when you make a switch on the mind, it will make a switch in the mind. It's a global switch, and it can happen just like that. It definitely can, and it does. We can move from, let's call it, being a victim to a champion just by changing our perspective. We can move from this idea that I'm not worth it to the point that I actually deserve my success. In fact, I could actually reach out and do more. Those switches can happen very, very, very quickly. And once we switch like that inside of our minds, I mean, that change in mindset will take us, it'll take us beyond the moon. It'll take us to the stars. And that's essentially what it's about. And that's part of what the audios are about. And I know I spoke about on the last call too. The BreakThrough Radio podcast will be launched also soon. So if those other audios have supported you, we're going to be putting more of that online. And not online in the sense of just out for everyone, but there'll be more things available to you so you can actually catch up. And if there's any questions, if anyone on the call, if you guys have personal questions or anything like that, reach out to us. Let's see where it takes us, and let's make sure that we just support each other to keep those learnings going forward without whipping ourselves and trying to without personal judgment, in the sense that take on the things that will get you to where you want to be, just like an exercise program. Do enough exercise to grow, don't do any exercise that will actually hurt you. Don't create an injury. An injury, to recover from an injury takes a lot longer, and it'll actually stunt your development. But if you take it on just enough, if you put enough pressure there, I tell you what, there are no limits. Inside the mind, there are no limits. That's the point. Inside our head, we can imagine everything. I mean, look at the movies that we create. We create movies like The Avengers and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we make movies about outer space and things, planets that we've never been to, fantasy worlds that we've never seen. Inside our mind, we are literally limitless. Yeah.
I'm Megan, and right before BreakThrough, I survived quite a serious suicide attempt in my teens, and ever since quite a lengthy psychiatric hospital stay, I disassociated from how I felt, and I kind of intellectualized everything, trying to understand how I was living life and how I was struggling, and I understood everything, but I never really felt what was lying underneath everything leading up to it. So for me, I joke and say like it was a breakdown, not a breakthrough, but it was the first time I let myself feel what was actually going on underneath what seemed to be cool, calm, and collected at all times. And so, yeah, it was connecting with my feelings because I didn't disassociate them. It's been like 10 years of just acting like everything's okay. And I think it was significant for me because I kind of dealt with everything on my own. And to go through it with a bunch of other people was big for me because I just generally shut everyone out. And well, yeah. Now, afterwards, I do feel a lot lighter because I think those feelings were weighing me down quite heavily, and not understanding that they were there was holding me back quite a bit. And yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. That's about it. I mean, I've got a more positive outlook, and I am more open to, humans on islands and themselves. Like I am accepting help, support more, and letting people in a bit more, and that's about it.
Well, I will talk from experience, being a thinker myself. When we live our world in our head and we solve all our problems in our head, the only thing is everything still just remains in our head. It remains in our thoughts. So, yeah, once again, it's part of the process. And to hear that you're doing well and still wrestling and working with the process, I just think that that's fantastic. It was awesome to have you, and of course, we also look forward to seeing more of you. So, yeah, anything else?
No, that's good. And thank you guys very much. Like, I haven't been able to do this on my own, so very much appreciated.
It is really our pleasure. I did see 2 hands go up earlier, and I missed the Be Limitless hand that was up earlier, but I know that Natalie's also got a hand up, or is that Andre's got his hand up? Which one's got the hand up? Because there's 2 people in the frame.
Okay, so I was waiting till everyone had their turn to say something, and I just wanted to add that I heard something on these lines, that reading inspirational quotes to change your life is the same way as looking at a barbell to build a muscle. It's going to have the same effect. We actually have to put the work in, and we keep doing this, and we, as Justin said, we make mistakes, and as Jules said, he's a slow learner. You've got to keep coming back, do the work, do more, and every time you do the work, you'll take more in. And so that's actually just what I wanted to add, is just keep coming back to get more, and that's how we get what we need. And then Andre takes over.
Good point. Well, I just want to say to all the participants, it was extremely, extremely gratifying to support all of you on this last breakthrough. There were some really, really incredible moments for me, and I have to say, I've got two particular questions. One for you, Henko. We worked on a process together, and I think you realized how you make decisions or how you show your decisions to people around you. And I just want to know, how was that process for you?
I got very surprised actually with myself. I was like, wow, if you just like shut up and just listen. I realized, okay, cool. Actually, the universe is giving us clues on what to do. We just listen to it. So yeah.
Listen to your universe.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, and you just did so well in the course, dude. It was just such a privilege to be in your space.
Yeah, I don't know, for those guests also, when some of us think we feel like we've a bit of stuffed shirts and that sort of stuff, we do have loads of fun. And yeah, it is also serious. Just a quick one. I don't know if anyone else has any questions or anything else on their minds or anything else to just either roll around here.
Okay, cool. So something that actually made that was actually a very significant impact that I got from this course was Lilene and I's relationship. It's actually funny how, like, if you work on yourself, how you connect better with your partner, and if they went through that same process, like our confidence just went up, and then we were obviously a lot more comfortable being around each other, loving each other. I've never seen Lilene so loving with me. I was like, what the hell? This is magic happening here. It's been awesome. It's really been amazing. And that's like one of, I would say, in the top 3 of the benefits that I got from this course. That's all I wanted to add.
That is absolutely fantastic. Once again, when we hear stories like that, it makes our hearts soar. So that's not soar as in soar, it's soar as in fly. It makes our hearts fly, because that's exactly what we're about. It's exactly what Megan said. This isn't a breakdown, it's a breakthrough. And that's the most important part. It's not about breaking someone down to build them back up again. Is a terrible idea. I have seen it before. I've been through processes like that before. I don't see it serving much. Yeah, it is absolutely great. So thank you for that.
That is awesome.
Cool.
I'm sure.
Thanks, Andrew.
I'm sure he's reciprocating. It's not a one-way street. This. I'm sure he's doing his bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he is.
Fantastic. Anything else from anyone else, guys? And then from me to you, guys, thank you so much for joining us. It really means the world to us that you take this work, put it in your life, make it work for you. And if we do have any speed bumps, know that there is a support mechanism behind that. It's not about getting your life perfect. It's about doing the things which is going to move your life to where you want to be. And each step that you put in front of the other just gets you closer and closer and closer to where you want to be. And that's the most important part.
Ek wou nie hierdie doen. Ek wou nie breakthrough doen nie. Ek het vir myself gesê ek het nie nodig gehad nie. Ek kan dit nie beskryf nie. Dit is mense voel dit en jy voel amazing. Jy voel asof jy nou kan dans en ek staan op in die oggend en ek gaan skool en ek dink, yes, ons pak hierdie dag aan. Let's go, kom. Dit is so. Dis amazing.